Hey there, thank you for coming out tonight. I'm Jason, I'm from Peaks Audio. Just want to let you know this is broadcasting also in your vehicles, 94.5. If you tune your radios to 94.5, if you can't hear me well with just speakers here, you can go ahead and hear us in your car. Thanks for coming out. We're going to be starting about 7:15 is what I was just told, 7:15. Thank you.
Let me show you everything I know. Jungle flame spinning around my head and I stay while my naked fool fresh out of icky cool you. I won't see you.
Mike, you know, you're not up until like the second between the first and second intermission. You have time. Oh, yeah, forget me. Right. I don't know. Hello, everybody. Welcome. Can y'all hear me? Yes, we got hearing in the back there. All right, I hear one honk, so that's a good sign. Okay, well, we are going to get started because we're, sorry, I got to stand closer to this, don't I? Because we're running a little late. But the only issue with that is we're, in theory, got to be out of here by 10 because the county said so. Anyways, we're going to get started now. So, good evening and welcome to the FALA 2020 Senior Graduation Ceremony. Hey, everyone. All right. That's right. Thank you for the honking. I'm Eli Cohen, the Executive Director here at FALA. Oh, and apparently that was not wise. Back again. Okay, we're going to have to hold that because there is a little bit of wind. Okay, let's get the pages in the right order. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, page 1. Yeah, sure. Okay. Should have numbered them, shouldn't I? Okay, we'll get the hang of this. Okay, I knew I should have stapled something, but no, not that one. I'll get it. Don't worry. Really. Okay, page 1. It's a good thing there's only 4, right? Okay, alrighty. I'm gonna hold this. I'm Eli Cohen. I said that part already. The Executive Director here at FALA. Thank you, David. Thank you to my nephew over there. I will be your host for tonight's celebration, and it's my honor and pleasure to be able to welcome you all here this evening, and to welcome any and all of you who are watching from somewhere else in town, ideally on the live stream. Thank you, Dina. And or from far away. On a personal note, for the faraway people, I'd like to welcome my dad and Marnie and Naomi, who may be watching. We miss having you all here with us tonight, but know you're with us in spirit and are rightly proud of my aunt and all her friends. So that was my personal side of it. So let's be honest. I have to say that I really didn't expect to get to this moment this year, or probably anything for that matter. Not even 3 days ago. Somehow we did, and so we're going to enjoy and revel in every moment. So what can I say about this year? Clearly unprecedented, shocking, scary, isolating, but also connecting. I mean, seriously, I'm looking at a parking lot right now. This is not how I at all envisioned graduation, but here we are. So a new world is emerging, and frankly, we don't know what it's going to look like in a few months from now, let alone tomorrow. And yet, this is the world we're sending our seniors / soon-to-be graduates out into. The cool thing about that is if there's any group you'd actually have faith to go into this world, it is this group of young adults. Yes, I agree. Thank you. You, seniors, are truly special. You face every challenge head on. For example, organizing a citywide climate strike or coping relatively smoothly to the loss at the end of a senior year and uncertainty over college next year. and not only survive, but seem to come out stronger. Just look at some of the work you produced during this time of quarantine or in your all-school project groups. You are ambassadors to the wider world and leaders in our greater community. Yes, you will face challenges none of us could have ever imagined, and you will need to make adjustments going forward that we probably don't even know about yet. But I know that each and every one of you is entirely capable of overcoming anything that is thrown at you. You are resilient and unified and sympathetic and empathetic and funny and strong. And I love you for all that and for all that you have brought to FALA and me personally. On a personal note, just let me explain just a little. I am basically here right now because of this class and some of its students in particular. If it wasn't for my niece and family living in Flagstaff, I never would have moved here. And if it wasn't for the welcoming community of friends, I never would have begun to thrive and eventually recover to the point of starting over here at FALA. Between the blind makeovers and the pajama wearing trips to the grocery store for cupcake ingredients, you know what I'm talking about, or the adventures in Mexico or Telluride or Zion, I've truly come to see many of these kids as family. I've had the honor of being a real uncle, a surrogate father, and much more. And as I wrote to the class a few days ago, FALA will not be the same without you, and certainly neither will I. You've touched my life, and I'm forever grateful. So please take care of yourselves as you venture forth. Take care of this world as you brave your way in it. Please keep in touch and always know you have a home and a family here. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you again, David. All right, so before we start this ceremony, there's a couple more things I'd like to do. So first off, I'd like to thank everyone who has helped this class and all of us get to this point. Thank you to all of our staff and the board of directors for their ongoing support and commitment. In particular, I'd like to thank 3 staff members, Jessica Nielsen, William Beckett, and John Missler, for your years of service and dedication to our students. We will miss seeing you all every day. Thank you. Lastly, I'd also like to thank Gina Byers and the entire team of staff and others, Peaks and on all the others here, who have banded together in essentially less than a week to make all this happen. I mean, seriously, we got a lot more to come. So I believe everyone here is forever grateful for your efforts. All right, so I'm almost done. But I would be remiss if I started this evening off without truly acknowledging the toll that is being taken in all of our communities recently. Between sickness and death, and slashing of jobs and xenophobia and racism and ecological devastation, our world is in turmoil right now, and there are victims everywhere. So if you could please now join me in a few moments of silence for each of these victims and for our societies in general. Let's remember what we've lost, but vow to build something better out of loss. Thank you very much for joining me in that. I believe we can heal if we truly work together for it. Thank you. All right, so that was my opinion. And now we're going to be on to the rest of the program. So it's going to be slightly different this year than it has in the past. In previous years, we kind of interspersed the letter reading and the photos with the speeches. But this year, we're kind of going to do all the speeches and stuff first, because ideally, it'll get a little darker later. Well, it will. And then the screen will go up and so on and so forth. So the first section is going to be speeches, songs, etc. And then we're going to go on from there. So, and of course, as with everything tonight, this is the first time we're trying it. So fingers crossed, and let's just hope we get what we done. So to start us off, I don't see her. I'd like to introduce Lorraine Fons Nakatewa, who is over there. Yeah. So in general, by the way, folks, if you are going to be presenting, check your schedule. And if you are kind of like 2 or 3rd up, come up here and there are seats. Well, I see most of the people have already done that. But for those of you that are speaking, come up here and we'll kind of get you going. So anyways, Fons is the current president of FALA Indigenous Youth Club and a brilliant visual artist. And she's here to honor us with an acknowledgement of the sacred lands we are standing on.
Hello, everybody. Yate she'e Lorena Kwatiwa. Eshehin nishle kisani bashichi tachini dashiche kisani dashinele. Hello, and again, welcome everyone to the graduation of FALA Senior Class of 2020. I'd first like to acknowledge everyone in the 2020 senior class and your amazing things and your amazing talents, in spite of your struggles and hard times. You're all still here and made it to today, and you're all still moving forward toward your futures. Congratulations to every one of you. Secondly, to the FALA faculty and staff, thank you for everything you do for us and everything you have done for us to be able to make it to here, for us to be here today. And thank you so much to you all. You will always be family. And lastly, I was asked to acknowledge the land that we're on. Flagstaff is a town based at the bottom of San Francisco peaks that are sacred to both Navajo and Hopi tribe. I believe it continues to give power to all the graduates who look upon it while on the FALA campus. This mountain in the land is something many people continue to fight for, including myself and my fellow Indigenous Club members. I am very thankful for everything the earth provides for us all, from the tiniest pebble in the sand grain to the beautiful blue sky and the sun that comes every day. I hope as a new graduate leaving this legacy behind in the Indigenous Club, I hope to continue fighting for my land, my people, my tribes, and my rights as an Indigenous woman in today's world. And a message from everyone watching and listening in this moment right now. We're still here. And thank you.
Thank you, Fawn. Next up is our high school theater teacher, Mike Levin, reciting the poem This Present Moment by Gary Snyder. Normally this poem is actually recited in a circle of graduates and staff holding hands before the ceremony, but obviously this year we're going to do it slightly differently.
Thank you so much, Fonz. What an honor to be on this land. Hello, seniors, class of 2020. You've been a group full of love and service. You have put in great work and had an incredible amount of fun. This is a poem that has been recited before graduation for some 20 years. It is a poem you can say at momentous occasions in your life so that you can go back to those events. Close your eyes, everyone, and I'll say it once, and then I'll say it line by line, and you can say it with me. This is the last time we will be together as a group for a school function. And the poem is thus: this present moment that lives on to become long ago. And let's say it together. This present moment that lives on to become long ago. Beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. And now we're going to move on to some messages to and from our seniors. So first up are those from our board of directors and our dean. So please welcome our president, Dr. Sharon Gorman, who will then be followed by our dean of academy, Jed Hayes.
On behalf of the governing board, I congratulate each of you on achieving this important milestone. You are the class of 2020. And without a doubt, this year will be one that will last forever in our collective memory. While the turn of the recent events has challenged each one of you in similar and unique ways, you have all persevered. You are stronger, more flexible, and resilient as a result. These character strengths are now your loyal companions, traveling with you on the road ahead as new challenges and opportunities come your way. Know that the education you received at FALA is your touchstone for resiliency, creativity, and compassion. I bow to each one of you, FALA graduates of 2020, with heartfelt congratulations.
Class of 2020, where are you? We can barely hear you. Better. Senior Ditch Day champions of the world. I can't credit that joke. I didn't write it. I stole it off of RAV4 in the Sprouts parking lot. It's important to cite your sources. That's the only academic advice I'll ever give you. I must have started writing these thoughts a dozen times or more. Every time I started, I kept smashing headlong into the same problem. How do you encapsulate the magnitude of this group of people in 5 minutes? Good news, I did it in about 1.5. So here we go. This powerful group of humans, powerful. Also, with no disrespect intended, a lot of graduation speeches from adults are just full of platitudes and ill-drawn idioms. But this comes from a beautiful place. Adults who became educators believe in something profound, the idea that we can impact humanity. I want to take you back in my own life briefly, if I could. By the time I had reached 8th grade, I was withdrawn and scared and almost always resisted speaking or sharing myself with the world. Things that had happened in my life had just broken me. But I was a teacher, but there was a teacher who reached deep down into my heart and put me on the path I am on today. That moment, that's what good educators strive for during their entire journey. A single moment, a single spark between two humans. But sometimes that leads us to a voice of you should versus a voice of you are, or a voice of I see you. And I think that's why it's so hard to write this, because yes, class of 2020, I see you, but also you see you. You know who you are, and you know where you've been. You know how to take the gifts that are uniquely yours and collectively your generations and bring change to a world that needs it. And graduation speeches usually come from a place that says, well, we gave you these tools. What are you going to do with them? But that can't be the point of this speech. It can't, because you've already shown us time and time and time and time again that you are the ones the world has been waiting for. And there isn't really anything I or any educator can add to that. And sometimes speeches tell you, let go of what the world expects and just be you. And I love that message, but I can't say it's a fair thing to say to you. Because right now the world is full of powerful oppression. There's a lot of fear. There's a lot of injustice, and to ignore how you can work within those power systems to bring them down, that's not you. So maybe I'll say it this way. Don't ever let the world diminish you. You were born with a spark, and you built that spark until it combusted, and you fanned that flame until it was and is unstoppable, and you will use that flame, I know, to burn down injustice, and you will use that flame to light a spark in others too, because you are strong, and you are powerful, and you are unequaled in your desire to change the world, and you will use that flame to chase off those that want to bring you back down to the dark, where you can't apply yourselves to the work and function of making this world a place for all humans to flourish and be free. And you will use those flames to light the way for those, the most vulnerable among us, who struggle to be seen in a world that does not like flames. These flames, class of 2020, I'm not talking about a puny flicker. No, I am not talking about a Bic lighter. No, not a hand torch. No, but a raging, powerful, gravitational, light up the atmosphere bonfire of hope. I know I speak for all of the educators and staff and faculty and administration when I say we are honored to have fed your flame. And we will always feed that flame because you have shown us that you are capable of beauty. You are capable of change. You are capable of love. You are capable of love. You are capable of love. And that makes you what FALA is. It is said that all is required for evil to triumph is for good people to be silent. And if that's the truth, then evil had be very, very scared of you. Class of 2020, we see you. We believe in you. We love you. Congratulations, and never let your flame go out.
Thank you very much, Sharon and Jen. So now from outside messages to the seniors, we have a pair of senior to senior messages. Our first speaker will be Juniper Holland. Besides being one of the recipients of this year's Service Learning Award, Junie is also the president of FALA's Environmental Coalition and one hell of a staunch climate warrior. Juniper.
So my name is Juniper, for those of you I've never met, and I am going to tell you guys a story. So bubblegum has been a very defining part of my life so far. Now bear with me, this is going somewhere. I once got my pointer finger helplessly stuck in a bubblegum machine, which resulted in 7 first responders in an ambulance at my front door. I befriended a feisty blonde whose intolerance for the sound of gum chewing has often led her into a full riot. And I even played a lead villain in a film by our own Gabby Nilsson about an underground bubblegum market. But by far the most defining bubblegum experience of my life was the night of the gum tub. Now, Michael Levin's advanced acting class is known to be problem solvers, but one night in particular, we were really put to the test. It was the first semester of the school year 2019, and Mr. Levin had become especially ambitious with the set for Mary Zimmerman's Metamorphosis. We had moved a 300-pound antique bathtub into the center of the room, plugged it up with sealant, and filled it with many gallons of water. It was magnificent, and the tub became a crucial part of our performance. Anyway, picture this. Saturday night, arguably the most important show of all, and the sealant that once plugged our beautiful bathtub has been dislodged and was lying in a massive puddle of water on the floor. The doors opened in 30 minutes. Backstage, I would explain the feeling as existential dread. And we are trying everything to plug up the tub. Tupperware lids, duct tape, super glue. And by then the audience is entering and they're taking their seats. And Betsy Hamill sees that there is no water in the tub and decides to pay us a visit backstage. So she comes back and we give her the rundown on what happened. And she says one word, gum. Now, we all know Betsy is a dreamer, but in this moment, she seemed more veering on lunacy. I thought there was no way a bunch of chewed gum would be strong enough to hold gallons of water in a tub. Even if it was, there was no way we had time to fill the tub back up. Not to mention, there was a full house of people already in their seats. But when I looked at Mr. Levin, he had this look on his face that I had never seen before. Skip 10 minutes, Betsy has successfully removed the audience, who is now becoming quite agitated with us. And she's distracting them. Meanwhile, we are chewing like I have never chewed before. Every piece of gum from every one of our bags and car consoles, and we are plugging up the hole.
Then we are making trips to every water faucet on campus, inside and out, and hauling jugs and water bottles full of icy cold, I'm talking middle of December, cold water, back to the tub. And I'm proud to say we filled that tub and it held. Then we performed metamorphosis and we did a damn good job. Excuse my language. Now, somewhere in the commotion of chewing, I remember having this really profound moment of just so much honor to be a part of this poetic moment and gratitude towards these incredible people. I think this story in particular is a reflection of us as a senior class in a FALA family. Besides being problem solvers, we are not problematic. Well, we are a little bit, but anyway. We are also unapologetically ourselves. We are like one big stubborn family that you don't want to take in public areas because we talk too loud and we dance too hard and our vibes are just too fire. I mean, New York is still recovering from the last time we visited. But in all seriousness, I cried a lot while writing this speech. I was listening to A Tribe Called Quest, and there was just snot dripping down my face. I think that's how you know it's a real cry. But I wasn't crying because I had imagined our last classes a million times, our last bell, the talent show, and the tears, and a formal goodbye to a place a lot of us called home for the last 6 years. Rather, I was crying because the amount of miracles that had to occur in order for us to end up in one class together is nothing short of an anomaly. Each and every one of you is an extraordinary, complex, and beautiful human, and honestly, I can't imagine my life without you. This isn't how any of us pictured it, but you know what? I don't think I care anymore, because none of what I thought made graduation special actually makes graduation special. What makes graduation special is going into the next chapter of life, knowing my heart is overfilled with experiences that I will never forget. During quarantine, I've been thinking, and I've come to the realization that the class of 2020 is about to rock the boat. Because at this young age, we have already learned not to take things for granted. And for that reason, we are going to live every day with full hearts. We've had the ultimate humbling experience. All of us have. We've learned patience and empathy, and now we are overflowing with an eagerness to begin again. The human race has no clue what comes next, and that is horrifying. But that means that we are becoming adults at the same time the world is changing, which means we get to form it into whatever the heck we want to. We need to be calculated in our expression. We need to be bold, and we need to be compassionate and fill the holes of the world, preferably not with gum. I have so much faith in this generation to fight for this earth and its people, all of them alike. Let's go make something magnificent.
Thank you, Junie. All right, our next senior speaker, it will be Clarice Linsky. Clarice is the other recipient of the Service Learning Award and president of the National Honor Society, not to mention quite the ukulele player, singer, and visual artist. So please now welcome Clarice Linsky.
Hi, everyone. Oh my gosh, it's so amazing to see you all here. I missed you so much during quarantine. Well, good evening, fellow graduates, parents, teachers, friends, and family. It is truly an honor to be speaking in front of our amazing, resilient, and courageous FALA family. So, did you know that you are not the same person you were 7 years ago? Well, duh, of course not. But what I mean is, in that 7 years, all the cells throughout your body have regenerated to create an entirely different physical manifestation of, well, you. Of course, we have the same memories and the same consciousness, but technically our cells and atoms are not the same. I'm not going to get super philosophical with this idea, but nonetheless, The biological process of cells going through mitosis and regenerating over time demonstrates the truth that we, as well as everything around us at different rates, are in a state of constant change and evolution. I think we can all say that, regardless if our cells have regenerated or not, we are definitely not the same people we were in freshman year. I mean, we've changed, we've grown up, we've glowed up, and evolved into a new form. Not only have we physically changed, but our brains have blossomed with a curriculum that embraces critical thinking and freedom of thought. So, a few months ago, before quarantine, Kaylee Welker and I had an idea for our senior project to interview our fellow seniors with the guiding question, how has FALA impacted you in one sentence? We received beautiful responses that clearly show the impact that FALA has had on each of our lives. And when I say FALA, I really mean each and every teacher, staff member, and student who makes the FALA experience what it is. It is the leadership and passion of every person on campus that creates this impact for students. So here are some of the responses. FALA has opened a door to a new way of thinking, one with creativity, critical thinking, and compassion. FALA has taught me kindness and camaraderie, to cherish and love unconditionally, and to show respect to all. FALA gave me freedom. FALA helped me find myself. FALA taught me the value of my voice in activism and politics. It has helped me to not feel like an outcast and taught me the importance of being a part of a community who looks after each other. FALA has given me the confidence to be a performer and given me a well-rounded education so I can do anything. FALA has taught me to never blindly fall into the routines of society. FALA has given me my core values in community and activism. FALA has changed my outlook on the future through not only uncovering my passion for painting, but also showing me college is an achievable outcome. From these results, I can clearly see that FALA has given students the confidence in their ability to perform, whether it be during a presentation or on stage, along with the confidence to be themselves. I walk away from FALA knowing the importance of service learning and helping others. Going on service learning trips, such as the border trip, has allowed me to gain a new perspective of life. These service efforts made me realize the importance of travel and helped me to better understand the meaning of a little concept I like to, called sonder. If you're unfamiliar with sonder, it is the profound feeling you get when you realize that everyone, including strangers you pass on the street, has a life as complex as your own, which they are constantly living despite your own personal awareness of it. Traveling really makes you realize this phenomenon. It is both mind-boggling, yet reassuring. We may all branch off from here to live our own lives, becoming the lights of another passing car or another student walking to class with Starbucks in hand. But keep in mind that our lives are our own. They're going to be as messy, complex, and as full of adversity as everyone else's. But we are the protagonists of our own story, and we have the power to make it beautiful and exhilarating, to make it our own. I hope you'll keep this idea in mind as we all graduate and continue to live, regenerate those cells, and take on the world in our own ways. I know that regardless of all the cell regeneration, we will always have a piece of FALA within us. Like a fire that burns in our chest, we are ready to take on the world and change it for the better. Thank you.
Thank you, Clarice. All right, so now for a little bit of musical interlude. The advanced acting seniors are not going to be performing tonight. However, we do have Marty Rousseau and Clarice Linsky singing Country Roads.
Check. Okay. So we wanted this to be a sing-along, so totally feel free to just sing along, sing your heart out. This is an expressive school, so just express yourself.
almost heaven. West Virginia, Blue Ridge Mountains, Shenandoah River. Life is old there, older than the trees, younger than the mountains, blowing like a breeze. Country roads take me home to the place I belong. West Virginia, mountain mama, take me home. Country roads. All my memories gather round her, miner's lady, strange to blue waters. Dark and dusty, painted on the sky, misty taste of moonshine, teardrops in my eyes. Country roads take me home to the place I belong. West Virginia, mountain mama, take me home. Country roads. I hear her voice in the morning hours, she calls me. The radio reminds me of my home far away. Driving down the road, I get a feeling that I should have been home yesterday. Yesterday, country roads take me home to the place I belong. West Virginia, mountain mama, take me home. Country roads, country roads, take me home to the place I belong. West Virginia, mountain mama, take me home. Country roads, take me home. Country roads, take me home. Down country roads. Thank you.
Oh, no problem. Thank you very much, Marty and Clarice. Okay, so now our next two speakers are actually going to be doing a joint presentation, which is rather fitting because the students of this class couldn't really decide between which of the two they wanted to actually speak. So in the end, here we are with two. So without further ado, please welcome high school English and journalism teacher and student council advisor Alex Cassidy, and high school social studies teacher and dual enrollment teacher Alana Miller.
You know, if you had told me in 2007 that the film world of Disney Pixar's Cars would one day be the nightmare in which I'd find myself existing, I wouldn't have believed you. And who's laughing now?
Leave it to Cassidy to start us off with a pop culture reference.
Yeah. Initially, I had planned on composing this speech entirely out of Radiohead lyrics and quotes from F. Scott Fitzgerald's novel, The Great Gatsby. I know this may seem like an odd pairing, but I do have it on good authority that both the novel and the works of Radiohead are considered some of the greatest artistic achievements in the history of human creativity. Unfortunately, the initial draft proved far too abstract, but like a depressing abstraction. And so what you've got instead is my plan B. The truth is, we weren't really sure how to best address you, class of 2020. I'm sure we're all sickened by terms like troubling or strange times, for these words can tend to overgeneralize and belittle an experience that we haven't had time to reflect on, process, and properly learn from quite yet. So I promise that we won't use them. I mean, now. So.
I assure you, though, I will use some other cliches. You have been warned. As someone who believes in the chaos of all things, I do think it was uniquely fortuitous that you all are the class of 2020. I can say with absolute sincerity that no other cohort in my years of teaching has been so authentic, developed such a high level of empathy, and been so grounded and mature beyond your years. Having said that, obviously graduating in 2020 comes with a unique burden and set of disappointments. I'm not here to undermine that or give you a silver lining or preach to you as I often do about your first world problems. Play my tiny violin for you. Promise. No, the fact that you're all here in your cars listening to me over your radios, which I'm hoping you all YouTubed and learned how to use before you came today, that belies the clouds of disappointment, instability, and uncertainty that our world is facing. This, I'm sure, hits different for you all, being as you're on the brink of adulthood, entering into this brand new landscape that even the most competent amongst us are struggling to understand. Let's get that out of the way. 2020 is rough.
I know the common feeling is that this class has been in some ways cheated or robbed out of a typical senior year. There's this feeling, as with all milestones, of expectations. The promise that A, B, C will happen, regardless of who or where you are. That first day of high school as a freshman, your first school dance, the first time you get behind the wheel of a car after getting your permit, maybe having to explain to your parents why it's not the end of the world for you to get a permit. Senior year, graduation. It is these milestones that we tend to rely on to not only carry us into the next chapter of our lives, but to provide a sense of closure on the previous one. Milestones are universal. They aren't supposed to change.
I will, however, offer you a little hope. Not to minimize the disappointment you may be feeling right now, but hopefully to shed a little light on where we are as a species in the broader context of our human experience. I've heard the word unprecedented thrown around a lot since this all began. Unprecedented. What a lonely term. It implies that we're alone, forging territory that our forebears had no experience of. Therefore, we're staring into this vast, dark chasm of unknowns. I don't know if there has been a more misleading term used more consistently throughout this highly predictable and very precedented event. Now, before you all start to roll your eyes about Miller going off about historical patterns again, let me just insist that this is when they're useful. Pandemics happen at least every century. If you're lucky enough, you may just get to live through another one of these. It's about a 50-50 chance. I hope you're comforted by that. That was the intent. Good news is, as humans, we have a knack for instability, and we have survived against many odds. Improved in many areas, but regressed in others. Humans are innovative, even when we fail to be just. We survive, even if we continue to oppress. So while nothing we are experiencing is unprecedented, it is also important to remember that no 2 points in time are the same, and no outcome is assured or linear. If there is anything from this century that is unprecedented, it's the level of stability and prosperity that we have experienced up to this point. This is a privilege we've enjoyed for decades as members of the developed world, one that we quickly began to take so for granted that the thought of global pandemics and conflict were relegated to science fiction in our media and our minds. This experience is not unprecedented. We're absolutely going to survive as a society, and in a few years, things will have moved on. Viruses are a mainstay of human history. We're not alone in this. It is not unprecedented, but it is humbling. And for those of you who will seize it, it is an opportunity. I mean this for both society, but also for you. But let's start with you, shall we? You might scoff, how is this an opportunity? You may feel that your worlds have been turned upside down and milestones taken from you. Plans dashed and financial stability ripped away. I get it. However, I have heard this time referred to as the Great Pause, for those of us lucky enough to have been able to stay safe at home with enough food and running water. A pause to be bored, lonely, play Minecraft and Fortnite, probably a little too much for some of you. Yes, but also a pause to reflect, to be still, to spend time with ourselves and to consider the shape of our lives, and decide if our next decades on this earth will be well spent if they continue to resemble our status quo. This pause was needed for all of us, living in a society that values busyness and productivity above all else, that has romanticized the depression and anxiety that comes in spades alongside of those values. I've watched you all grow up in that, be burdened by that, had aspects of your childhood stolen by that, and it's broken my heart. So I would argue it could not have come at a better time for you. You all, pandemic or not, are about to make enormous or seemingly trivial decisions. They're going to cascade into a tidal wave of effects that determine the course of your life. Most of us have had to jump into adulthood head first with no time to take breath, prioritize our lives, and pause. With each year of adulthood that passes, the number of doors available gets smaller and smaller. Right now, for you, they're nearly infinite. This is both a blessing and a curse. But you all have been given this moment to pause, to hopefully veer your course intentionally. And knowing you all, I have every faith in the creativity, justness, and meaningfulness of the paths that your lives will take.
The trouble with relying on a status quo or standard set of expectations is we get in our heads this sense of this is how things are supposed to go, which in turn leads to a multitude of feelings when they don't turn out exactly as they should. Disappointment, frustration, fear, uncertainty. People like to think in patterns and routine and dislike anything that might pose a threat to those structures. We tend to believe that in the process of change, something's always lost, like energy in a chemical reaction or something. Shout out to high school science for that analogy. I'd like to propose a counterpoint to that thinking, a belief that life is an additive experience. Case in point, you were all graduating at the end of a school year that saw itself end in-person instruction back in March. It might feel like this abrupt shift in your senior year took away the rest of your high school experience. The reality of the situation is the opposite. You gained the time to reflect on and further grasp who you are as an individual. In a time where life moves so fast, where there never seems to be enough time in the day to balance what to eat, what to wear, which schoolwork to focus on, which relationships need tending, what you're going to do with your future, what you want to learn to do, and what you want to practice doing, you have the time to figure out the answer to at least two of these predicaments: Pop-Tarts and sweatpants. Every day. But most importantly, you've had this time to figure out some of the bigger stuff too. Maybe being able to practice that instrument with your extra time, bettering your skill and discovering new ways to express your love of music. Perhaps you have rekindled your passion for painting, creating the landscapes or images that have far too long sat undisturbed in your imagination. It's quite possible you've finally been able to pick up that hobby that you've always wanted to give a shot, but simply have been too busy to invest in. You've had the opportunity to really discover something you truly love. Or maybe you've even found out the thing you thought you loved isn't quite your jam. Regardless of the outcome, the process has been additive. At the very least, you've made memories that you will carry with you for the rest of your lives.
In addition to rediscovering parts of yourself, I hope this has been a time to think about the state of the world at large. While I said earlier that you have grown up in a century with more stability and prosperity than any other, you were also the first to be raised in the fog of climate change, the constant burning awareness of social injustice. With a political climate so toxic and unproductive, it can make the most optimistic of us throw up our hands in despair. You have been given so much, but in return yoked with so much. And to be honest, we put too much on your shoulders. With the best of intentions and no hope for redemption, let me just say I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you are entering into a world where we still prioritize profit over people. Where just this week, hundreds of years of racial hatred led to George Floyd dying in the street while begging for breath. In a world where our own planet is the last priority, and a society where we cannot see past our own tribalism to acknowledge the humanity of all. But lest I paint too bleak of a picture, we also live in a world of hope. You have been given the opportunity of pause to decide what should be in your life, in your world. And your position in this world, as members of a developed nation, means that you have a fighting chance of realizing those ideals. This is a rare, rare gift. One might say it's unprecedented.
This experience, just like any experience in life, conventional or otherwise, does not exist to steal from you. There is no subtracting from our lives. Even in times of loss, we still carry all that has come before us and move forward to pick up what comes next along the way. We're like time collectors. I'm going to trademark that, by the way, so if you want to make the film, just let me know. In that we observe, we act and reflect according to the time that we have. Even when things don't necessarily go the way we think they should, we are still left with time. Time in which, turn the page, we can do the things we want to do, be the people we want to be, and become the people we want to be next.
So, what do we do? You've all asked me that time and time again as we've covered topics from gender inequality to war. What do we do, Miller? Asked with such ferocity. We need to do something. I feel as though I have given unsatisfactory answers up until now. So here goes my final attempt at answering the question of your generation. This generation that faces Injustices of a scale that can seemingly dwarf us. So here it goes. Just love each other. And by each other, I mean your fellow humans and the ecology we all depend on. Act consciously and take responsibility for your thoughts and beliefs and throw them out when they do not serve justice or align with reality. Only seek comfort in what benefits all, not just you. Refuse to internalize the message that your value is determined by your productivity, because it is determined by how you lift up those around you. Some of you will do this in huge, astounding ways, I'm sure. But others, in fact, probably most of us, will do this in the small day-to-day ways, which cumulatively add up to a mountain of goodness that ripples out into the generations ahead of you. Both are valid and both are necessary. While I know we have told you over and over to be change makers, I really feel the need to remind this particular cohort that it is also okay to be content, as long as that contentment does not translate into apathy for others or a tolerance of injustice.
You know, going into March, this graduating class already had an amazing sense of identity. Your sense of self and your critical eye for the world around you left a seemingly tangible air about FALA's campus, even now through the large number of cars that hopefully are not running. On this late May evening, I can feel that air. Maybe a little bit of exhaust and the heat from these lamps, but mostly that air. And however you've chosen to spend this time, I just want you to know that it has in some way bettered you, and it has strengthened your character for the coming future. And at the end of the day, self-improvement is the best status quo we can ever hope to strive for.
So please be kind. Please continue to be as caring and motivated as I know you all are. But also please remember to live. So as I may have said one too many times in class, but to quote Kurt Vonnegut, I urge you to please notice when you are happy and exclaim or murmur or think at some point, if this isn't nice, I don't know what is.
Flagstaff Arts and Leadership Academy, class of 2020. I'm sorry I was not able to write an entire speech made out of Radiohead lyrics. But I will leave you with the comfort that no matter how the time you may have feels in that moment, it's a weird sentence, I want you to take solace in knowing that everything's in its right place. Congratulations to the class of 2020. You did it!
Thank you very much, Alex and Alana. All right, we have a couple more speeches and then it'll be intermission and the screen will go up and then we'll keep going. So our second to last speech is this year's recipient of the Dance Award, former co-president of FALA's National Dance Honor Society, a brilliant dancer and gymnast, and this year's 2020 Salutatorian, Lauren Foster.
Thank you for the introduction, Eli. I believe I speak for all of us the frustration of coming up with the perfect, all-encapsulating title for every high school paper we've written these last 4 years. So I'd like to commemorate my speech, Untitled Document, to all of those times. Have you ever experienced a time in your life when you had a deep, burning desire to understand something? When I was 4, the world was at the tip of my finger, literally. One afternoon, I let my little fingers guide me into a painful decision. I was sitting in my room when I noticed a sparkly, glowing orb in the corner. What is that? I thought. So, I climbed my castle of a bunk bed, grasped the railing, reached out, and laid my chubby little finger on a scorching, hot light bulb. To an average observer, the action might have seemed completely childish. Kids do stupid things all the time, right? But I think if we look deeper for a moment, beyond childhood impulse, there's something more ageless. Curiosity. Why is it that this whimsical courage to question and discover without prompting is distinctly linked to childhood? We all have fond memories of our youth jumping off the couch like we had wings strapped to our backs, catching fish in the creek without any shoes on, exploring and questioning and dreaming infinite possibilities. But it seems as we grow up, the curiosity fades with our innocence, as if youth was meant for discovering and adulthood is meant for knowing the right answer all of the time. The consequences of not knowing become so terrifying that we hop onto the conventional life train, trade our curiosity for comfort, and our wings go along with it. Our lives become pre-paved paths measured by the tangibly hollow and impersonal things we produce, without ever stopping to question, is this really where my heart wants to go? I think all of us knew that our grade was different from other grades. And I think that this is because we have not yet allowed the temptation of conventionality to impose on our passions. We have managed an environmental coalition, Indigenous Youth Club. We had a climbing club for like 2 weeks. We have been part of honor societies for art and dance and leadership. I don't think we took part in these things because of the tangible merit we would be awarded, but because of the genuine passions and desire to defy conventionality itself. We can't let the fear of entering the world take that passion away from us, because that is what is going to guide us. And we've got to be okay with not having certainty all of the time. I think we've all discovered these past few months that we are living in a world of complete uncertainty always. When we accept that life is not a linear trajectory, and we stop stressing over where we're supposed to be, ask questions, be curious, and live within this current moment, interestingly enough, we end up exactly where we're supposed to be. My goal was never to be a salutatorian or a valedictorian. My goal was to go to school to understand the world around me, to take advantage of the privilege that is education, and understand life on its deepest levels, because as Albert Einstein said, any fool can know, the point is to understand. We've all developed this beautiful curiosity these past few years, and I have no doubt it will take us all where we're meant to be. The key is to allow that innate curiosity to remain untethered when life, even though life convinces us otherwise. To be the fierce little salmon that chooses to swim upstream, to not be the kid that nods their head even when they have no idea what the teacher is talking about, but to be the kid who says, no, I have no clue what you were talking about. To have the courage to be curious, to not shield our beautiful, vulnerable selves with arrogance, to not assume that because we know, we understand. It was Socrates who said, all I know is that I know nothing. And as much as our AP Lang class despised that guy, he's got a point. When we stop assuming that our opinions are absolutes and we listen, ask questions, be vulnerable, that is when we make progress collectively. I had a very wise teacher this year, Miss Miller, who told our class that the point is to ask unanswerable questions. It seems counterintuitive, but that is when we initiate conversations that are meaningful. That is when we can question our surroundings and stand up to injustice. We have all become little justice warriors in our own ways, but to do something meaningful, we can't be afraid of touching light bulbs because they're painful, advocating because it's unconventional, sacrificing our passions for 9-to-5 jobs because they are comfortable, or asking questions because they don't yet have an answer. We can't be afraid of not knowing everything and letting our curiosity guide us once in a while. Entering adulthood, we are blank white flags flapping in the wind, completely detached from high school expectations. All that is left is the bare essence of ourselves and the agency to turn our passions into actions. Free to ask ourselves, who am I when there is no one around telling me who I am supposed to be? I have no doubt all of us will go on to do something truly incredible for the following reasons. We know what our passions are, what language our hearts speak, and we have the curiosity and drive to make the world a better place, because agency is nothing without heart. However, that better world won't be found by the tangible things we accumulate, like degrees, jobs, or wealth, but by this. When you can ask yourself the question, if I could be anywhere in the world, doing anything at this very moment, what would it be? And you find that the answer is this. I want to be doing exactly what I am doing right now, with zero regret. That's how you'll know that your heart and your untethered curiosity has led you to the right place. Thank you.
Thank you, Lauren. All right, so we have one more speech. Here we go. So now, please give a very warm welcome to the winner of various awards at this year's Senior Awards Ceremony, the outgoing president of the FALA Student Council, one of the producers and directors of the FALA Upload, also a brilliant dancer and actress, and your 2020 FALA valedictorian, Gabby Nielsen.
Thank you, Eli. It's amazing to stand out here today and look out and see everyone's beautiful cars. It sounds like a joke, and of course I would rather be looking at everyone's face, but there's still something so familiar about this, like I'm walking through the FALA parking lot or something. Being here on the fairgrounds reminds me of a time when most of us were here together. On that day in September, we were climbing the adventure course after spending 72 hours together in Sedona during the rainy season. That trip was one of my favorite memories of the year, and it really distinguished our class as a team. We were able to put aside our differences and preconceptions and have a good time. That's one of the things I love about our class. We have done so many amazing things together as a team. We fundraised for nonprofits in our freshman English class. We've won canned food drives. We've made AP study groups during Red for Ed. We've helped plan our own senior retreat to Sedona. We've written plays. We've gone on trips. We've showcased our dance, theater, music, film, and art for the world to see. But recently, the world's been scary. So many of us are turning to the comforting nostalgia of books and movies from our childhood and early teenage years. For me, that means Harry Potter, Hunger Games, and Percy Jackson. I was completely consumed by these stories from 5th to 7th grade. I craved so badly this tight-knit community of oddballs and underdogs who didn't always get along, but they still loved each other unconditionally and banded together to fight against injustices. After my first year at FALA, the worlds of fantasy fiction started to fade away. I still love the stories and the magical worlds within them, but I no longer needed them to feel complete. I thought I was just leaving behind a phase, but I realized it wasn't because I didn't like the books anymore. It was because I didn't need them. Because I was in the story. My own story, full of loving, supportive people who genuinely care about helping each other grow. My special skills weren't magic or sword fighting. They were filmmaking, leadership, and creativity. I found the FALA class of 2020, my tight-knit community of oddballs and underdogs who didn't always get along, but still loved each other unconditionally and banded together to fight against injustices. We grew up together. We learned together, loved together, grieved together, and created together. Unfortunately, we all know what happens in the last book of the series. These characters who grew up together must face their biggest challenge yet. An unexpected, horrifying, and potentially deadly challenge. However, they always defeat their unwelcome enemy in the end, because they had been unknowingly preparing for it their entire lives. Everything they learned together, every experience they shared, provided them with the tools to defeat their seemingly undefeatable enemy. And what happens after that? They grow up. Sorry. But they carry with them the adventures that they shared. I will always remember our creativity, our connection and collaboration, our investment, our common good, and our most critical of inquiries like, who put the dish in the sink? FALA and the class of 2020 changed my life for the better and allowed me to grow and change into the person I wanted to be. Thank you to the students. Thank you to our amazing adult mentors. Thank you for making FALA my home the past 6 years. The best way to show our gratitude to FALA and its amazing educators as we go out into the world as change-making collaborators. We can and must use empathy, intellect, and drive that we cultivated at FALA to critically deconstruct inequality and bias, to recognize privilege, and to use our tools to uplift oppressed voices and actively work for a better future for the planet and its people. Thank you.
Thank you, Gabby. Okay, so now we're going to take a little bit of an intermission because we are going to blow up that screen, which I think takes a little bit of time, 15 minutes supposedly. So we're going to figure that out. But for now, float around in the dark, I guess, lights, whatever. See you all back here in a few minutes. Thanks. Hi, sorry. Can I possibly see Gina Byers, Mike Levin, Allison Gruber, and Betsy Hamill up on the stage or around here? Thanks.
2, 3, 4. Microphone check. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Damn. She got like, damn, you know what I'm saying?
Microphone check. 1, 2, 3, 4. Microphone check. 1, 2, 3, 4. One, two, three, four. Microphone check. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Hi, everyone. So actually, the screen went up quicker than we thought, and we are going to try and move this along pretty quickly because it's already 8:30. So for all the graduates, the way this is going to work, so the first 6 graduates alphabetically should be up here in the chairs to that side. So please, starting from stage and the first 6, and then kind of just pay attention to where we are in the order. We are actually not going to probably take a second intermission. So basically the way this is going to work is we will read the letter. They will show the pictures. As soon as we are finished and we introduce the name, you will come up and take your diploma from George over here. Has it so that we maintain some social distancing. And grab a water bottle. I guess the grad night people have also supplied water bottles. So a diploma and water bottle. And you will take your diploma from George and I think pose for a picture if we have the photographer. Anyways, we'll kind of figure that out. So we are going to start. So the first 6, if you can line up, we are going to get ready to go. Thank you.
Check. Wiki. Sage. I was driving alone through the Nevada desert when I was 6 months pregnant with you and when I truly felt you for the first time. I don't mean physically feeling you like a flutter in my belly that pregnant moms often describe. This was a sudden and overwhelming sense of no longer being alone. It was as if you, the essence of you, just arrived and it felt warm and familiar, as if being reunited after a long while. Ever since that moment, I've had a certain level of calm and reassurance that will always be close, no matter what. You are the most fascinating person I know. You see the world differently than anyone else and have a clarity about who you are and who you want to become that is uncommon to your age. I can't imagine being anywhere but right here watching you grow into the beautiful, strong, and independent person you are becoming. I'm so proud of you and I love you so much. There is absolutely nothing you cannot be, do, or have in this life. Follow your heart, do what you love, live joyfully. Everything else will take care of itself. Love, Mom. Sage Elizabeth Anning. Olivia. Congratulations on your graduation, our beautiful Olivia. We are so proud of you. You've shown such perseverance and determination within the last 12 years of your education and did not let anything stand in your way. Our hope for you would be to be open to new adventures and be willing to embrace unexpected experiences, and most importantly, be courageous and take that risk when opportunity presents itself. You are greatly loved by so many. Congratulations again on your well-deserved success. With love and full of pride, Mom and Dad. Olivia Alicia Bailey.
Allison, should we move down maybe? That way there's... Isaiah, my charismatic, intelligent, warm-hearted son, you made it. One chapter of your story is complete. You graduated high school during these challenging quarantine times. This will be a memorable time in your life, class of 2020. This was definitely a journey of ups and lows. You accomplished it. We are beyond proud of the young man you are becoming and continue to be. This life is better because you bring joy to everyone's hearts around you. You have an infectious smile to brighten up any room. Your comical, witty, intelligent personality is immense. Know that we will always be by your side to guide you and motivate you to make the best choices in life that make you happy. There will be times this life is hard. That's when we learn the most. Above all, enjoy every moment you have, travel, make new friends, create beautiful memories, and continue to learn. We love you. Isaiah Martin Beltran. Congratulations to our dearest Chauncey. Today, we are so proud of you. We wish and hope that you will continue to work hard to be able to reach the ultimate apex of success. Today, we are so grateful and proud of all the best things you have done and are still doing. We love you with all our hearts, and we are proud of your accomplishments. We pray to God, giving our son the ability to do more great things in life. You are such an invaluable gift from God. We watch you change and grow into this amazing young man. We are proud of you, my son. Chauncey Donovan Billingsley.
Dear Kolya, it is hard to believe that this day has arrived. Since the time you were born, you have brought joy. You are an amazing, genuine young man that is not only smart and strong, you are also sensitive and compassionate. Of course, I am your mom, and a mom's love for her son is unconditional. However, when we run into your teachers at Macy's or at school, they always stop and profess how wonderful you are. Your friendships demonstrate how you are able to support and respect others, and they admire and look up to you. I appreciate your depth of wisdom and drive to understand. You only have kind words for others, even those who aren't always kind. You seek to understand them rather than to tear them down. You are a success, and you will certainly continue to be a powerful force in the world, bringing it the positive changes it needs. I am so proud of you. Congratulations. Keep being you, Kolya. Love, Mom. Kolya Paris Bobbitt. Marty. Barely 4 years old, during a lively dinner conversation, you stood on the bench and delivered loudly and accurately Martin Short's line from Treasure Planet. Was I ever dancing with an android named Lupe? It was then, Marty, that we knew you were a contender. You wouldn't let your status as the middle child define you. With 6 siblings, you assert your personality without robbing others of theirs. Your willingness to try new things, then teach others what you've learned is boundless, and your generosity and gratitude are inspiring. Watching your teachers realize your talents and affirm you in your passion for discovery is beyond rewarding. It would be unfair to mention by name those who see you most clearly, but Rich Kruger deserves public recognition. Thank you, Mr. Kruger. As you ready yourself and your land speeder for the next leg of your voyage, I can only hope that you see yourself as those who know you best see you, a strong, capable, giving, and hilarious seeker of wonder. For those reasons and many more, I am proud to count you among my friends. May you always be guided by those who give without taking away. Yours sincerely, Dad. Marty Brasso.
Eva, seeing you all grown up brings back so many memories. I remember you at 5 when we took a strenuous hike into the Betequín ruin at Navajo National Monument. You exhibited such perseverance and energy that you have carried through your life. I have been amazed at your quick aptitude in picking up new skills while we worked in my woodworking shop. You take knowledge and adapt it in your own way to create cool and exciting projects like repurposing thrift store furniture into creative art projects, which you then offer back to the community fundraising to support women's education. Your dedication to social justice causes such as immigrant rights, community activism was most recently demonstrated by sewing face masks for those in need. All of these traits have helped you become your own person, and you continue to make me very proud of you. Keep up the good work. Love, Grandpa. Evangeline Sierra Chapis.
Dearest Christopher, you said I didn't need to write you a letter, so I won't. We love you and are very proud of you, boy. Congratulations. Love, Mom and Dad. Christopher Nicholas Clark. Dearest Jonathan, oh son, how time flies. It's hard to pin down any specific memory from your childhood that is my favorite. The feelings evoked during the ruminations are those of joy, abasement, and pride. From wee babe to tiny human to childhood, and now with you entering adulthood, we are just so excited to see what you do with your future. We love you very much. Congratulations. Love, Mom and Dad. Jonathan Connor Clark.
Your name might be common, Lauren, but that's the only common thing about you. From your earliest days, you tenaciously and bravely pursued everything you wanted most. Tenacious means taking your first steps at 8 months old and breaking into a run 3 weeks later. Tenacious means chasing seagulls all day so you can keep one as a pet. Brave means packing your bags at age 6 and heading out into the world on your own. Brave means riding your scooter down a steep hill and landing in a cactus, and then doing it again. Brave means texting me pictures of your new, unapproved bearded dragon with his 50-gallon tank already set up in your room. And now graduation is here, and you'll be taking new first steps. You've packed most of your things, and you're ready to head out into the wide world. Before you break into a run, I have some advice for living well. When life gives you lemons, say, screw the lemons and bail. Never, ever drink the punch, literally or metaphorically. And number 3, enjoy every sunrise as though it's your last. Stay brave and stay tenacious. Lauren Elizabeth Clifton, you are one of a kind, and we love you more than you'll ever know. Lauren Elizabeth Clifton. Maayan. When you came into our lives, we were 12 years old. Being older siblings meant setting a good example, like showing you how to properly clean the house after throwing a party when your parents are gone, bearing the evidence, and always sticking to your story. We weren't perfect, but we showed you how to prepare for life's shortfalls, how to have fun, how to face consequences, and most importantly, build grit. Looking at you now, at the bright young woman you've grown into, it feels the tables have flipped. You continue to teach us with your authenticity, kindness, wisdom, and knack for making those around you feel heard and loved. We are so proud of the person you've become and know that there is nothing you can't accomplish. We'll always have your back, bail you out, offer a shoulder to lean on, take endless selfies, and throw you a proper send-off. Congrats, we love you tons. Your older twin sibs, David and Naomi. Maayan Liel Rockness Cohen. From Dad, watching Tobias grow up from being a baby who was upset when cake icing got all over your hands, messy, to a confident young adult driving a car and getting invited to gigs with professional musicians has been an awe-inspiring experience. I am proud to be your father and humbled by everything you have achieved. Tobias will often be the first to discount how far you have come, and your sister often complains about how easy everything is for you. But I saw the hard work and dedication that you put in early on where to get you are now. Congratulations to a well-deserved son. From Mom. Toby, from the moment you were born, you lit up my life. I am so proud of you that I could burst. You've worked so hard to get here today, And in the process, you use your music and your contagious enthusiasm to light up everyone around you. I'm pretty sure you've already mastered the best advice I can give you for your next adventures, but remind yourself of this whenever you need to. Find what makes you happy, and your own enthusiasm will bubble up to fuel your journey. It won't ever lead you astray. These days, with all this weirdness and uncertainty, more than ever before, this will be true. Live in your pursuit of joy and love. Remember how much we all love you, and have fun out there. I can't wait to see what you do next. Lots of love, Mom. XOXOXO. Tobias J.D. Colvin. We'll get the hang of it.
Indigo. When you were around 8 years old, I asked you to picture the most comforting haven you could, a place where you knew you would always be safe and at peace. You described a ladder going up into the sky. Nestled in the clouds was a room filled, almost overflowing with books. This has been a defining aspect of your life so far, solace in stories and in learning, and the hallowed symbol of both, the book. You've continued to pursue a life of knowledge and words, especially noticeable in your deep love of languages: Chinese, Spanish, ASL, Japanese, as well as mathematics and music. Still, I'm glad to see that you are not just anchored in knowledge and learning, but also in doing, in applying yourself to the world with a desire to be helpful, a burgeoning activism, and many artistic creations. Now you've come full circle from the early vision of that skybound haven to today. Your hand-making books, beautiful and unique, and selling them to raise funds for your community. Now you are becoming and creating a haven for others. May this be part of your long legacy: book weaver, polyphonic speaker, haven builder, in all your love and glory. Indigo May Corvidae. Dear Aspen, have you ever seen the aspens all golden in the fall, or a little tiny baby named Aspen Shay? The earth is filled with beauty, and it's got all of it together in the form, the face, and dainty grace of a pretty Irish girl. You are our dear, our darling one. You dance and sing and have such fun. No other can match the likes of you. You are our dear, our darling one, our smiling and beguiling one. We love the ground you walk upon, our pretty Irish girl. We have sung that song to you since you were born. We feel it still as the essence of you. You are a wonderful daughter and sister. Even in these uncertain times, we know you will persevere and do great things for women, for you, and for the world. We're so proud of you. Love, Mom, Dad, and Rowan. Aspen Shay Cosner.
Ivan, you were the first of 3 sons born to young parents. We found out we were having you 1 week following the September 11 attacks. There were complications during your pregnancy, but you were born healthy, full term on the last day in May 2002 in the middle of a fierce thunderstorm. When I was pregnant with you, I would walk in the afternoons and sing. You had severe colic as a baby, and we spent many of the first 6 months of your life walking me singing. Your favorite song was Sweet Baby Jane's. You loved to be swaddled tight and wore layers of clothes even in the summer until you were about 3. Then I think you spent an entire year naked. You still wear dark jeans and long sleeve shirt even in the Arizona summer sun. You have always had a killer smile. You are our first son, and we have been through a lot of firsts with you. You are now graduating in the midst of COVID-19 epidemic. Just like your name, you are strong. You will weather your storm well as you continue life in your own independent vessel. our sweet baby James. Ivan Mateus de Gator.
Dear Kyle, I am honored that you chose me to write this graduation letter to you. You are so special to me, and there are no words to express my deep, unconditional love for you. I carried you in my womb, nurtured and protected you over the years, and watched you metamorphosize from a caterpillar into a butterfly, despite the many challenges and obstacles you have faced along the way. You may see me cry today, but rest assured these tears are filled with joy, love, and gratitude. You are my firstborn, and have brought so much happiness to my life and the lives of so many others you have touched. You are courageous, funny, caring, talented, compassionate, intelligent, and witty. Most of all, you have a pure, loving heart. Don't forget to follow your heart, and most importantly, stay true to yourself along your journey here on this earth. I want you to be free to follow your dreams, to be your unique self, to explore, to learn more, to make mistakes, to fail, and ultimately to grow into your highest potential. I will continue to cheer for you and will always be here to support you. Love you always, Mom. Kyle J. Elison. You have to carry the fire. I don't know how to. Yes, you do. Is the fire real? The fire? Yes, it is. Where is it? I don't know where it is. Yes, you do. It's inside you. It was always there. I can see it. Cormac McCarthy, The Road. Lauren, when we grow up, we do not turn into new people. We hone the versions of ourselves to adapt to change. In other words, as you grow, you become more you. If you start out good, what could be better than being more you? When you were little, you would tell me that when you grew up, you wanted to be a helper. As a small person, this usually meant helping animals in some way. Now you are so grown up, but you, Lauren Avery, are still that little girl rescuing lost dogs, drowned moths, and baby mice. Though the goals of your rescue are larger and more abstract now, injustice, climate change, inequality, the quality of your desire to be a helper is the same as it has always been. Lauren, your fire burns bright in the sunshine. It expels the cold and it illuminates the darkness. It is always with you because it is you. I'm lucky to be your mama. Lauren Avery Ellsworth.
Dear Albie, reflecting on the close of one time and looking ahead to another, it is your inextinguishable light that captivates us most of all. Through your years, you've seen darker days and narrowed choices, but it is how you persevere through those challenging times that you mesmerize. There is a spunk to your light that is not typical. You have the ability to connect through openness and honesty, which allows your care for others to flow. In so doing, your light infuses those you touch. Waking up to you is like Christmas morning, every morning, a gift we will cherish forever. In this world of appearances and disappearances, of continual change and impermanence, without hesitation, let your light shine in all you do. We are excited for your future. You are ready. Love, Mom and Dad. Aviel Bradley Fitch.
For 2 years, every night, you would wake up at midnight, want a sip of water, a hug, a moment to know you were safe and not alone. You liked complex geometrical pictures over soothing and rocking. Just before your second birthday, you came out of your room and told me, I sleep in my own bed all night now. And so it was. The midnight wake-up stopped. You knew what you wanted. You developed a character of getting it done. You can be counted on to keep your word, to be fair and to be honest. Character is defined by what you do when no one is looking, and you, Lauren, have defined yourself by doing the right thing at the right time in the right way from an internal drive, not recognition. When you say you will do something, it's done. You see the best in people. You lift others up. You see a need and fill it. You are the friend everyone wishes they had. As the world resets itself and many feel lost in turbulent waters, you will become a beacon, a safe shore, a steadfast rock. You are the future, Lauren Grace. For all that is in the heavens and earth is yours. You are loved because you love. Go be the change. If anyone can make it happen, it's you. Lauren Grace Foster.
Michael, one day you went with me to finish errands. I was hurried, tired, and pulled up to the train crossing. The arms went down. I sighed. One more delay. Suddenly you remarked, "Cool, we have a front row seat for the train." Your perspective helped me to laugh and relax. Commonly, you take on multiple challenges with the same unique attitude. Your insatiable curiosity drove you to take things apart. The doorknob safety lock when you were a toddler. Remote controls, yes, plural. You were constantly trying to figure things out. And now with the assistance of the internet, you figured out how to code computers and even repair our cars. Though always bright, you struggled academically trying to overcome obstacles that made traditional learning daunting. You despaired but never gave up. Fortunately, some wonderful mentors at FALA, Miss Hickson and Mr. Kruger, recognized and nurtured your spark. You joined the Infallibles Robotic Club, took Caveat on as a junior and senior, and made a plan to go on to college. You began to create your path and excel. As your mom, I greatly appreciate this privilege of a front row seat to watch you take off and soar. Michael Joseph Gale.
Dear Gemma Spoon, when you were a baby, we went for walks every day. Once, we went into a shop full of Christmas trees that were loaded with ornaments. One caught my eye, a white bird with outstretched wings soaring with a fairy woman on its back. The woman has golden wings, raises a lantern, and smiles just joyfully. I've been saving this ornament for you for all these years, knowing a time would come when you would fly away. I remember you as a toddler with a huge vocabulary, a 5-year-old who patiently welcomed her baby brother, a 9-year-old who returned from a 2-week backpacking trip as a newly forged badass. I should have checked that. I remember your voracious appetite for huge novels, your collection of rocks from the backyard, and your endless creations made with tape. I remember the happy moments we've spent together next to creeks and oceans and enjoying your delicious cooking during quarantine. The day has come for you to spread your wings, gather your light, and claim your freedom with a joyful smile. Your sensitivity, courage, kindness, and imagination will carry you far. Thank you for being. We love you so much, Mom. Gemma Witherspoon Giovanni.
Sasalea. There are so many things I adore about you, your kindness, your intelligence, your willingness to loudly sing cheesy 80s songs in the car with the windows rolled down. My most favorite thing about you, however, is your adventurous spirit. In such a short time, you have been all over the world, picking coffee beans in Costa Rica, helping those in need in Mexico, eating ghost peppers at midnight with friends in New York City, racing through an airport in Iceland to catch a plane being held just for you, seeing The Cure at a haunted castle in Dublin, You even took it upon yourself to live with strangers in Ireland for several months so you could fulfill a childhood dream. And now you have once again orchestrated another adventure in a small town in the north of Wales at your dream university. I am so excited for the life you are choosing and your adventures still to come. I am proud to call you my daughter, and I am thrilled to call you my friend. Credendo vides, and congratulations, love, Mom. Sasa Leia Gittimer.
Dear Kylie, congratulations. You made it. High school graduation. I know that you have been excited about this day for a very long time. You always wanted to grow up so quickly, and now here it is, adult life. A life that has infinite choices and opportunities. A life that you are now in control of. You are in the driver's seat, now more than ever before. Don't forget to look both ways while still watching what is up ahead and planning your next turn at the same time. Pay attention to the sights you see and the streets you pass, as you may need to or want to travel that road at another time. Be cautious about who you allow to ride next to you, who you tell where you are going, and who you are asking for directions. But most importantly, never forget to let the wind blow through your hair and sing as if no one is listening. We may be far away and we don't get to see you often. Please always remember that we love you and are so proud of the woman you are becoming. You are our family, now and forever. Love, Dina, Hanana, and Hasba. Kylie, Rhea, Ghani. To my dear friend Megan, firstly, congratulations, and secondly, heck yeah, we're doing this together. I'm so thankful to have you in this world with us all. I think this goes for many, that you're an amazing person with amazing talents and an amazing soul. The music you make can bring me the best vibes. Your singing reminds me of good times. Your home is like one of many for me. Who you are as a person is what gives me happiness, and your smile, dude, that brings a smile to mine as well. You are the definition of the best friend anyone can have, and also you're the reason I'm able to want to move on, because we've talked about this day to day. Graduating together, and we're here finally, and I can't wait to see all the things yet to come true in our future lives. Thank you again for being the most amazing soul ever. I keep you in my prayers with all my loved ones, and I pray that you continue to thrive throughout your life. Thank you for being you. I love you. And once again, congratulations, Megs. Your friend and sister by choice, Fonzie. Megan Adele Gowan. Erin, congratulations on this very important milestone. We know you've been waiting for all of our useful advice, so we'll get right to it. It's about to get real. Choosing to graduate during a pandemic, not a good move. We've heard others tell you how sorry they are that you have to deal with this. We wanted to say, get over it and learn to embrace the suck. Life rarely works out the way you think it should. Realize that pain, grief, frustration, and struggle are all prerequisites for greatness, and take advantage of it. The strongest trees in the forest are the ones on the outer edge, because they are the ones that have endured the punishing winds. Don't be afraid to fail. Everyone fails. Everyone makes mistakes. I made one in 1996. If you aren't failing, then you aren't trying. We are very proud of the person you have become and are quite certain that our awesome parenting skills had much to do with it. The world is completely open to you, and we are excited to see what path you will take. We love you very much and are always here with support and fantastic advice. Love, Mom and Dad. Erin Teresa Gustafson.
my beautiful daughter, Ruby. The song Ruby Tuesday, I used to sing you to sleep repeatedly when you were a newborn. You had my heart from the get-go, kiddo. Years later, you still do. I am so proud of you and excited for this next chapter in your life. A ruby, the magical gemstone, represents love, courage, energy, passion, power, leadership, and zest for life. These are all traits that you possess already. Trust in them, and they will serve you as you meet the many challenges and adventures ahead. And life will be an adventure, and it will be a challenge, and it will be beautiful and even heartbreaking at times, and that is life. And your mom and I trust that you will live it to its fullest. Your mom and I gathered some key pieces of wisdom for you. Keep these close to your heart. Attack life each day with ambition and find what fuels you. Let your heart guide you and your head reason with you. Be a leader, not a follower. Strive to be the best version of yourself always. Be a problem solver. If you have a complaint, bring a solution too. Never be the first to let go of a hug. Put thought into your friendships, choose wisely, cherish the strong ones for life. And now I'm going to attempt to sing this. If you would all please join along, you will drown out the sound of my voice, which you will find a pleasurable experience. Goodbye, Ruby Tuesday. Who could hang a name on you when you change with every new day? Still, I'm gonna miss you. Okay. That was the Rolling Stones. Go get all it is that you are after. You can accomplish anything. I love you, Ruby, Dad. Ruby Lynn Heinonen.
So now I have to follow that. Thanks a lot. Dear Camille, today I was talking with my 8-year-old daughter about determination. It takes determination to set high goals and work little by little to achieve them. I said to her, that is what you did. You worked hard on your education and got accepted into top universities. That did not fall in your lap, but it took skills such as self-awareness, assertiveness, creativity, problem solving, self-advocacy, and pride. Alina then said, if that is the case, you belong in the Rebel Girls books, referring to stories about courageous women who persevered because they were determined to succeed. I have to say, I agree with her wholeheartedly. The world is full of courageous girls and women, and you are, by all means, one of them as well. But what sets you apart is the unique path you are going to carve for yourself in the future. A great American writer, William Faulkner, once said, you cannot swim for new horizons until you have the courage to lose sight of the shore. That, my dear, is the next chapter in your life. I would be lying if I promised there will be no challenges and obstacles in your way. When you lose sight of the shore, things can get scary and disorienting. That is when you need to believe in yourself, just like people around you do. But in this chapter, you do not always have to get it right, because making mistakes is a necessary part of life and growth, as long as you have the determination to learn from them and try again. And this is where your determination and courage is going to help you succeed. Dear Camille, I watched you grow from a little zerderd, that is how you called a lizard when you were just 2 years old, into an amazing and creative woman. Your family and friends are immensely proud of you, and we are certain you will shine and soar in whatever you do in the future. Logan. Camille Marguerite Hernandez. Dearest Juniper, there are too many and fond and funny memories to list here. From your violin days to piano to guitar badassery, That word is getting around today. You were the conductor at Memory Game and loved slip and slides. You got your finger stuck in the bubblegum machine, and it took 5 firefighters to set you free. Remember mudsledding with Auntie Hannah? One day, when I came to pick you up from school, the teacher pulled me aside to tell me that she had never met such a sensitive soul. She said that you were in tune with every student's emotions and met them where they were at, always aware and always kind. I am so proud of you for being a writer, climate activist, dancer, volunteer, runner, fashionista, painter, chef, photographer, graphic designer, women's march marcher, teen court lawyer, world traveler, yoga teacher, and NHS member. Most of all, I'm proud of you for the intention you bring to every single one, to love others and to make the world a brighter place. As Jobs once said, don't let the noise of others' opinions drown out your own inner voice. And most important, have the courage to follow your heart and intuition. May you always find the rain. Love, Mom, and Sunday. Juniper, Vienna, Holland.
Our dearest Cassidy, you are an amazing, beautiful, and talented young woman. We have watched you grow into the woman you are today. It has been a privilege to see you mature over the years. We, as parents, as well as your family and friends, are very proud of you and all your accomplishments. Sassy Cassie, a nickname given from the first week you were born to today, is well earned. As the years have gone by, you have grown into the name and you will never lose it. There are too many stories and not enough time to explain the well-deserved moniker. Here are a few words from friends and family used best to describe you. Genuine, passionate, bubbly, fun, encouraging, loving, kind, hardworking, talented, adventurous, beautiful, big-hearted, happy, ready for a party, neat, independent, has a contagious and infectious smile, chooses the right although sometimes wrong, sassy, determined, blonde, a genuine and caring friend, always up for doing something new and fun, loves to be in the moment, spreads sunshine wherever she goes, determined, and looks forward to having a scary but bright future. Although 2 of these characteristics most commonly used from family and friends to describe you were your adventurous nature and kind heart. Our hope for you is to never lose these traits. Live life as one big adventure and always love and be kind to those around you. Your success in life can and will be measured by continuing to show these traits. Tackle every challenge with fun and exuberance as you already do. And remember, life is an adventure. You should make the most of it no matter what it gives you. Congratulations on completing this stage of your life. It is yet only the beginning to your amazing story. And lastly, as your mother always says, remember where you came from and remember who you are, and always remember you are loved. We are proud of you. Cassidy Lynn Jarko.
Dear Bugsy, even in these, the strangest of times, you made it. You may not have believed it would happen, but we've never doubted for a second. There is so much we could say about how hard you've worked and about how proud we are of all that you've achieved. We could highlight your accomplishments while remembering the hurdles you have cleared. We could use this time to talk about the hundreds of times you have amazed us with your talents, dazzled us with your insights, humbled us with your kindness, or frankly, scared the crap out of us with your fearlessness. More too, we could make mention of all our hopes and dreams for you, what we want for your future, what we believe we will see you become. We are fairly certain, though, that you have grown weary of and impatient with those stories. Besides that, we have no intention of limiting the expression of those emotions to 250 words. We promise to spend the rest of our lives burying you in our love and pride. On this, the occasion of your high school graduation, we do want you to move forward through life remembering some very important things. We love you as big as the moon, deep as the ocean, fast as a freight train, juicy as a watermelon, pretty as a painting, shiny as King Tut's sarcophagus, bouncy as Tigger, blue as your eyes. And we love you more than any other boy in the whole wide world, forever and ever and ever. Hugs and kisses, Dad and Mama. Henry, Jude, Drury, Jordan. Congratulations, Care Bear. We are so proud of you and the person you've become. From the beginning, you've always danced to your own beat. I am always amazed by your confidence, strength, and your many talents, including your beautiful art. You've always known exactly who you are and have stood up for yourself and your beliefs, never backing down. While most only get to see your tough side, we are blessed to know the sensitive, loving, and compassionate side that you tend to keep from others. Most people struggle to figure out what to do in life. Your question is never if, but when. You never doubt your ability to become successful in anything you want to become, from tattoo artist to medical school and everything in between. Remember that whatever path you take, there isn't a wrong one, just lessons to be learned along the way. Whatever the future holds for you, your family will be behind you, supporting you through it all. We love you to the moon and back. You're an amazing, wonderful human being. We know you will do well at NAU, continuing to make us proud along the way. Kerrigan, Knott.
Ever since you were born, you have been a source of light, joy, and peace for your family, community, and the world. You embody art, not only through your drawing, dancing, painting, photography, poetry, storytelling, but moreover in your overall approach to life. Truly, you yourself are a piece of art, a bright lavender canvas with splashes of yellow, green, blue, and every color of the rainbow, accented with daisies, sunflowers, the Empire State Building, sunsets, clinics in Mexico, and dolphins in the surf. This transition now in your life to the next exciting theater is really the start of another art project. You are a new blank canvas, bigger and finer than any before, and the colors on your palette are brighter and more varied than any you might have seen in the entire world. The brushes are the most delicate and precise, itching to taste the colors on the palette. So get to it, girl, and paint, draw, create, explore, and most importantly, live. We, your family, are so excited to see what masterpiece you create next. With all the love in the world, Chunkaluk and the rest of the Linsky clan, Clarice Aurelia Linsky.
To the kid that believed she was a Care Bear and could right a wrong by giving someone the Care Bear stare. The kid that refused to leave preschool unless she was the last one to be picked up because things couldn't possibly run smoothly without her. The kid that organized our home bookshelves and made us check out our own books. The kid that shaved off her eyebrows and placed the blame elsewhere. The kid that taught herself to sing and play almost any instrument by ear. The kid that loves being part of the student. Sorry, I feel like I skipped a line. No, the kid that gets straight A's and takes all the AP dual enrollment classes she can. The kid that loves being part of the student council and planning the dances. The kid that has held down the same job for almost 2 years. The kid that writes tasks in her planner just so she can mark them off. The kid that got into college and scored almost a full ride in scholarships. The kid that already pays her bills, does our dishes, eats healthy, cares about the environment, and is an all-around amazing person. I guess you're no longer a kid. I think you're ready to conquer the world. Congratulations, V-Face. We miss you already. Madison Victorine Morse.
Dear Gabrielle Sunshine, here we are at your high school graduation in the year 2020. Surely this is not how you imagined it, but nothing can diminish the pride and joy we feel as we celebrate your milestone. It may seem like destiny that you are graduating high school with the highest level of accomplishments. However, the truth is that every moment of your life, every choice you have made has led you here. You have always been curious, eager to learn, passionate, and driven with an unparalleled work ethic. But please know that you are loved unconditionally, with or without exceptional achievements. You shine brightest when you are fully yourself, radiating emotional and artistic intensity without judgment from others, either real or perceived. Dad says you are a strong and powerful woman with the confidence to do what's right, even if it's hard. And Indy says, I will miss having my sister and best friend with me constantly, but I am so proud of you and you continue to inspire me. Gabby, we are truly blessed to share the roots of our family tree with you. And one last thing, please hire me when you start your own media company. Love, Mom. Gabrielle Sunshine Nielsen.
Rika, some march to the tune of a different drum. You made your own drum. Can you hear the rhythm of life in your head? Your drum moves you to an exciting and rewarding life, inspiring you to do your thing your way. Conventionality follows the safe and normal, and you know this drum is not for you. Your drum's authenticity ignores the world of a revolving bombardment of social norms. You embrace being yourself as great. Your drum fosters creativity when you tune into the beat. Your beat filters the world's norms, perceptions, values, and pressures, creating something fantastic and original. Your drum beat draws those who appreciate your authenticity and creativity. While doing your own thing, you create a close community. As you swim against social current, know that sometimes you will be misunderstood by some who can't recognize your drum beats. Your commitment to yourself allows experience to teach and direct you. Your drum exudes the freedom, compassion, and acceptance that you freely give and that you clearly deserve to receive tenfold in this world. Head high, shoulders back, keep marching, and beat your beautiful drum for those who chose to hear the unique you. Love, Mama. Rika Jade Kanak Nelson.
Vole Vense. Watching you become your own person has been the most rewarding part of my life. You have become amazingly intellectual, caring, creative, and strong. An amazingly intellectual, caring, creative, and strong badger, butterfly, salt woman in more ways than I could have ever prayed for. For everything to work out for me to be your big sister is nothing short of a blessing. I thank our ancestors and family for being survivors and carrying on traditions and culture we are fortunate to live with. We both know where we come from, and that gives you a great advantage in life. Please don't forget that. You are continuously making me and our family proud of your accomplishments. You will always have our support. You have all my support and all my love. Your sister, Sunway. Laureen Rose Nekwe Tewa.
True. During adolescence, you have overcome many challenges and found your own direction. Some challenges you chose, like graduating high school early, and other challenges chose you. Regardless, your response has shown understanding, strongly patterned growth, and an ability to center like clay on the potting wheel. Your teachers, friends, and family are all proud to witness your hard work and the mindfulness you've kept through it all. When you wake up tomorrow, know that you have been successful and trust the path you've taken. College years are a great time to test your judgment and gain experience. Remember, though, you'll still make mistakes. There's value in your mistakes. Just remember to find the lesson. In closing, keep doing what you're doing. Your direction is terrific. Know that the world is ready to learn from and move forward with you and the class of 2020. Sincerely, the family and co. True Divinity New Silver. Dear Lauren, your graduation from high school is finally here. Much has come and gone since you came to us in the world, but what has not changed is your remarkable fascination with the animal kingdom. Whether it has fins, fur, scales, or hooves, we have never seen someone provide so much care and love to another non-human being. This is why we currently own fish, a dog, a cat, goats, a snake, a horse, chickens, and not to forget the rabbits that just passed away. We also had no idea how much maintenance your little animal reserve would be. Mom and I should have seen it coming. When you were a toddler and would crawl into bed with armfuls of stuffed animals every night. However, as much work as animals can be, we are so glad to have done it and are so happy that you have this wonderful gift with them. It explains why you're such a caring person to all around you and the earth itself. This is what makes you special and brings hope not only to us, but to the world at large. With love and support, Mom and Dad. Lauren Elizabeth Pacheco.
Dear Hiram, you may have come to us a little broken and a little uncertain, but with plenty of love and support. Surrounding you, a much healthier and confident young adult has emerged. Your creativity and talents have blossomed at FALA, as have your hopes and dreams. Although these may be some of the strangest of times, your future looks very bright. How do you choose which road to take? We understand that nothing feels safe and secure, but you have overcome so many obstacles, unknowns already. You remind us of how challenging being a teenager can be, and now the world adds even more twists and turns to your journey. Nonetheless, scholarships await your decision to attend college or a trade school if following your passion for the culinary arts or drawing. Whichever direction your instincts guide you, know that we believe in you and look on with pride. Having you in our lives these last 3 years has been a blessing, to be sure. Hiram, you have come a long way from the shy boy we once knew. Congratulations, your grandparents, Kent and Lynette Bybee. Hiram Joseph Rayner. Dear Charlie, courage is not the absence of fear, but the ability to walk straight into our lives even when we are afraid. You, my fabulous son, are so brave. From the first time I saw you perform the role of the troll in the first grade, to the first time you walked into new schools knowing no one, you have been brave. Braver than most people I know. I have loved you since the moment I knew you existed. Your bravery, integrity, resilience, and kindness will take you to amazing places. I am so excited for all of the firsts that are ahead of you in your life. I will always be proud of you, my beautiful son. Love, Mama. And from your brother, Charlie. We have been constant thorns in each other's sides since I can remember, whether it was locking you out of the house and running away or embarrassing me on a date. It has been constant. The other constant of our relationship is that we always go back to having each other's backs. And I'll miss not having you around for that. I'll miss having you around to talk to complain to go to the movies with. Charlie, we have been through thick and thin together. There is so much more I want to say, but I'll keep it at this. And I really mean it. I love you. Charlie Avery Spencer.
Cece, you have had a wilder ride than most to get to this graduation day, and yet you have always chosen resilience in the face of struggles and loss. Where some would have chosen bitterness, anger, or resentment, you have chosen kindness and empathy. Where some would have given up in the face of challenges, you have chosen perseverance, independence, and grit. Keep up the resilience. Continue to choose joy and meaning. We are very proud of you. Love, Mom, Tulsi, and Carol. Cecilia Jean Thomas Christofferson. We'll get it to her later.
Graduation day is a big accomplishment, and you couldn't have done it without dedication and hard work. I know there were times when you wanted to give up or thought you couldn't do it, but guess what? You did it, and I couldn't be more proud of you. You have learned so much, and you will learn more and more every day. Your journey into the future may be challenging, but I will be here to support you every step of the way. I love you more than you could ever imagine. I can't wait to see what your future holds. Just know that you can do anything you set your mind to. With love, Mom. We have been down some pretty crazy roads together. I'm sure we will go down plenty more in time. We have seen plenty of ups and downs, had rough patches and smooth sailing. We have laughed together and made each other cry at other times. Through all the good times and all the bad ones, we've learned what it truly is like to be and become family. Not because we have to, but because we choose to. We have had to do a lot of growing on our own and together to get through some things, and that's outside of adapting to change and challenges we have had to face in our own worlds. But I can honestly say that I am proud to be your dad. You have worked hard and persevered to adapt and overcome so many obstacles to be who you are today. I admire your courage and will to continue on whatever path you are driven to follow. You show a great deal of insight, which originates from uniqueness outside, your unique outside the box perspective, which offers others a fresh view of our worlds. Love, Dad. Celestia Ravel Tisa.
Kaylee, as a girl, you came to me with your nose, scrunched eyebrows, knit face, red A's screeching in your brain like a steaming hot kettle. And you wanted to pull someone's hair, probably your sister's, because the universe was out of tune. It made you angry. that your socks were asymmetrical, the family portrait was crooked, and we ate too much pasta without enough greens. It made you angry that there was too much work and not enough play, though you worked hard with the most. You've always wanted to put the world on water and watch it float. And when it sank, as it does, you came to me with your coals burning hot, and together we learned how to breathe, inhaling the inferno and exhaling song. Together, we learned patience, we learned art, we learned music and dance, and we learned how to go to a great many places. Oh, the places we'll go. And in the years I've been away, I've watched as you've stitched your sails, hoisted them high, and navigated all the rough, tumble waters of the world, of your life, gliding toward the horizon without knowing what the horizon would bring, turning your flame into a candle with which to light the way. I expect your flame will never extinguish, since the world will never quite float the way you want it to. But if anyone can stand at the edge of the world and tip the scale, it's you. Sail on, sail on, sail on. Your brother, Dylan. Kaylee Marie Welker. Brody, we are so very proud of you. You've always been your own person, independent and strong-willed. You're also sensitive, thoughtful, and kind. You began amazing us with your intelligence and talents from a young age. You were speaking full sentences at age 2. You had this deep, manly voice that you would use to let everyone know how you felt. At only 2, you once surprised us by asking, "Where does the sun go at night when it gets dark?" Your sensitivity is a great strength. You've always had a unique way of looking at the world. You are such a thoughtful and genuine person. You have a great sense of humor and always keep us laughing. Your musical talent is amazing. We've enjoyed it so much through the years. Thank you for always being willing to entertain us and our friends at parties. We wish you the best in your life ahead, all the happiness. Keep being the amazing person you are. We know that whatever you do, you will mean so much to all the lucky people enough to know you, just as you mean so much to us. We love you. Love your family. Broderick Zimmerman Winger.
You started as a little Casio and have grown into a grand Steinway. In your early days, we weren't sure if you'd become a musician, a custodian, or a bartender. Your first self-purchased toy was a dustpan from the dollar store. A couple of years later, you told the pediatrician you wanted to be a bartender because it looked easy. Not sure where you got that idea. Bartending is hard. However, your interest quickly moved to music. The first indication of your musical ear was when you came home from 2nd grade, played a couple of notes on the piano, and said it sounded different. It had been tuned that morning. Numerous solo ensemble gigs and placing first in Arizona State Jazz Competition followed. You are wise, calm, thoughtful, and mindful with a generous heart, evidenced by your volunteer work and political advocacy. You have shown empathy and concern for humanity. Carson Neil Woodruff.
All right, so congratulations to all our graduates. All righty. Okay, so now we have a special treat for you. It is with great pleasure that I now present to you a tribute film for all the, oh, there we go. Filmed and edited and produced and scored by the one and only Betsy Hamill. She and her guest speaker will definitely wow you. Enjoy.
In 1994, there were maybe 400 people in my graduating class. The ceremony took place in our gymnasium, and it was unbearably long. I don't remember much, just that I was eager to get out of the gymnasium, out of high school, out of the suburb where I'd grown up. I wanted to remake myself, or rather, make myself. I really only had the vaguest understanding of who I was or what I wanted from my life. And I imagine this is true for many of you as well. So the month of my graduation, John Wayne Gacy was executed. And I know it's weird to bring up serial killers in this context, but bear with me. And then also the former First Lady, Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis, died. And like, that was it. And that was fundamentally all that was dominating the American news to the best of my memory. But my peers and I didn't really pay much attention to the news. We didn't really, care about the goings on in the world. And we were also still reeling from the loss just a month prior of Kurt Cobain, the artist who encouraged us to embrace our feelings of stupidity and contagiousness. At 17, I couldn't really fathom the future. I could hardly wrap my head around the first year of college, much less the more distant future. I never even considered 2020. So I'm reflecting here on my own graduation from high school and holding it up against yours. 2020, 1994, what a chasm between the two. What my graduating class shared was a private, generationally specific grief for a musician whose songs seemed to define us. What your graduating classes shared in these last few months is a global sense of unease and fear and loss upon loss. And before that, also the kind of shock and loss that is not specific to one generation, but that engulfs everyone it touches. School shootings, ecological strife, wars, dramatic and often frightening political shifts. And you have navigated these traumas with grace beyond what most adults in the world seem capable of. I know there's a great deal of pressure your generation feels, being told repeatedly that you will fix things, as though the problems my generation and the generation before you begat are your birthright. I've talked to some of you about this pressure. I've heard your anxiety and your uncertainty and often your pain. But I've also seen how you've risen to meet the messes. You interrogate relentlessly. You challenge, you act, you care. I see that in each and every one of you. My generation, to some degree, prided ourselves on not caring. Nihilism, indifference, that was our lot. The world is messed up, we told ourselves, and there's not a damn thing we can do about it. But you acknowledge the brokenness of the world and seek ways to repair, whether through art or activism or questions or poetry or music or dance. You seek to repair damage. You refuse to accept that chaos and disorder and entropy are just the way of the world. You do not simply shrug your shoulders and walk away. And while, yes, you are all exceptionally tapped in, all invested, all aware of the world around you, the hard truth is there are things in this life that cannot be addressed through activism. There are times when poetry and music fail, when movement is difficult. There are problems without solutions and questions without answers. So what have you got for that? A lot, as it turns out. For one, you have kindness, and I'm not talking about the run-of-the-mill, thanks for holding the door kindness, but the kind that transcends the superficial, the variety of kindness that heals. I have watched you hug one another when someone is suffering or celebrating. I have heard your voices break with compassion while discussing an injustice or reading a poem. I have known firsthand your tenderness during this year. Even as a writer, I do not have the words to express the way your gentleness, your loving dispositions, your energy has healed me and held me aloft. You expressed care for me as your teacher, the way you have shown care for your peers and your families. I will never forget that for as long as I live. You know how to persevere. Each one of you has your own set of personal struggles. Each one of you, like every human being on the planet, has your own unique set of weaknesses. And yet, despite this, I have watched you persevere. I'm hesitant to use the word overcome because that word often presumes an impossible goal. Overcome connotes done with. But a lot of our struggles we will never be truly done with. We simply get on with, despite the struggles. This class exemplifies that characteristic. You have struggled privately and publicly, and yet here you are. You have gotten on with it. The ability to get on with it is a virtue. In other words, tenacity, which you each have in spades. Moreover, you have proven in these last months your ability to adapt. What I've learned in life is that those who cannot adapt, those who cannot embrace or at least accept change or make peace with change, tend to struggle the most profoundly. Change, as the cliche goes, and there's always a reason a cliche is a cliche, is the only constant in life. You have adapted to an extraordinary circumstance with humor, persistence, and yes, your trademark kindness. Kindness is a thing you hone over time. Kindness does not mean you let the world step all over you, that you forget to keep boundaries. You need to save some space for yourself. And kindness is not just for others, it's also for you. Be kind to yourself, forgive yourself, allow yourself. Kindness without sincerity is useless, as are most things artificial. I could go on about your kindness and your passion and your creativity and your smarts, but I would be remiss if I didn't talk about your humor. Bar none, you are one of the funniest cohorts I've yet had. From your quips during class discussions to your meme making to your wry observations, I have laughed more with you than with any other student group. Personally, I feel laughter is the most healing of all human responses, so thank you for that, and please stay funny. When Kurt Cobain died, one of my high school English teachers told my class he didn't want to hear one more damn thing about Kurt Cobain. He didn't grasp our mourning. He probably had never heard a song by Nirvana, or if he had, he didn't like it or he didn't get it. What this taught some of us, I suppose, is that grief is personal and private, and that your suffering, your grief, is not my problem. And in a sense, he was right. Our teenage grief over a musician who was roughly our own age was ours and ours alone to bear. But you have never taken this position when it comes to the suffering of others. Whether it's been the suffering of peoples at the border, or the grave injustices of our so-called justice system, or the suffering of our fragile planet, or the suffering of an English teacher who has cancer, you have never taken the position of, well, that's not my problem. And that was perhaps the problem with my generation. We were taught by those who believed that others' problems were not their problems. You know better, but you've also been forced to know better. A virus that originated thousands of miles away has come to roost on our own doorsteps. You've had no choice but to know that the suffering of others is your problem. But from my vantage point as your teacher, you all had the strength long before COVID of character to know this. I don't think adults had much hope for my graduating class. We were slackers, apathetic, angsty, without skill, or so we were often led to believe. And I suppose it was helpful on some level to go start out our lives thinking we wouldn't amount to much. And then, that way any success felt like tremendous success. I worry the reverse is true for you. Too much is expected of you, so no success ever feels like it's enough. This way of thinking, too, is just as dangerous and fallacious. In my home, I have a framed quote by Emerson. From time to time, I pause by it and read the quote to remind myself of what it means to be successful. I've lived long enough to ascribe to Emerson's observation about it, and here's Emerson's observation about success. What is success? To laugh often and much, to win the respect of intelligent people and the affection of children, to earn the appreciation of honest critics and endure the betrayal of false friends, to appreciate the beauty, to find the best in others, to leave the world a bit better whether by a healthy child, a garden patch, or a redeemed social condition. To know even one life has breathed easier because you have lived. This is to have succeeded. If you agree with Emerson, as I do, you already have succeeded. If you merely hear Emerson's words as yet another platitude sprouting from the platitude garden that is graduation season, so be it. You are a class that is not afraid of dissent, who does not shy away from speaking your minds, and I love that about you. As I write this, I can see your faces and hear your voices. Lauren Foster, Brody, Hiram, Olivia, Chauncey, Sessa, Kerrigan, Fonz, Kylie, Rika, Gemma, Toby, Aspen, Aaron, Cassidy, Sage, Mayan, Lauren Clifton. I say your names as a mantra, each one attached to memories of my good fortune to have known you, to have spent some time with you, to have seen you, to have heard you. As I write this, I hear Marty objecting, wait, as I cut her off mid-sentence during a shockingly articulate tirade against Dante Alighieri. I hear Isaiah dryly saying, I'm not allergic to peanuts. I'm deathly allergic to them. I hear Tia drawing connections between K-pop and literature. I see Gabby and Juniper performing yet another devastatingly clever vocab review skit. I seriously don't know how they did that. I see Camille looking skeptical, and I hear True's laughter. If I close my eyes, there are Clarice's words, electrically alive on the page, and there is Charlie trying to get out his comment about the salt mines without laughing. I can picture Cece organizing clutter on my desk while expressing playful disapproval of my sloppiness. I hear Ruby having a giggle fit apropos of nothing I can surmise, and I can remember the intensity in Megan's face while she took notes. I hear Cole's philosophy and remember sending Henry's to the boys' bathroom to scare the middle schoolers out. In my memory, too, is Maddie showing me memes on her phone, or Indigo telling me about her latest work of art. I see Carson's face, always in the front row, patient and full of thought. Ivan's smile, Lauren Pacheco's enthusiasm and honesty, Michael's technological know-how and willingness to help, Kyle's sincerity, Lauren Ellsworth's quiet but strong presence, Avi's earnestness. I could write about all of you forever, your beauty, your humor, your intelligence, and your kindness. You are loved. You are loved. You are loved.
Thank you, Betsy, for that, and Allison for that amazing film. Seriously. All right, so we are pretty much at the end here now. So basically, we're at the cap throwing stage of this ceremony. It's pretty dark out. So the thought is perhaps all the cars should turn on their lights, and then everyone will get out of their cars. Go to your area around your car and get ready to throw your caps. And turn on some lights so that we have some lights out there. Ideally, everyone can get out, maybe take some pictures because it's going to be really hard for us to take pictures. So I don't know if we can we turn these around or something? Or down, or I don't know. Get a little bit more light out. Okay, so basically we are at this point. So I just want to say thank you all for coming. I hope you had a wonderful, wow, it's really beautiful from up here. I got to say, we should take some pictures from up here. It looks super amazing. Anyways, congratulations to all of you. Thank you very much for coming, and hold on a sec. Everyone's taking pictures at this point. Everyone ready? Got our caps? We're all ready to go? Okay. And on 3. And now, congratulations to the Flagstaff Arts and Leadership Academy 2020 graduating class. Yay! All right, hug it all up. Hey, everyone, congratulations. So that concludes this graduation ceremony. Congratulations to everyone, and get home safely, and thank you. Bye.